My name is Diane Cordova, and I am, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go on to the next slide because I've got here, oops, let me just do this. A little disclaimer letting you know that whole food plant-based nutrition by myself, Diane Cordova, is not intended to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any disease or condition. It is not intended to substitute for the advice, treatment, and or diagnosis of a licensed healthcare professional or practitioner. Trained and certified health coaches may not make any medical diagnosis, claims, and or substitute for your personal physician's care. So just a little disclaimer. I am certified in whole food plant-based nutrition. That's my specialty. That's what I love to teach people, how just the vibrance of food, the colors of food are medicine really for the body, and how we need to get more in the body, okay? So with that said, I'll start with a verse that I use all the time in my work, Genesis 1:29. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And of course, this was God's first, this was the intention of how we should eat, is that God created the plants, the trees to be our meat, to be our food. So one thing that I want to explain to you, or tell you first of all, is that we live in a very toxic world, very toxic. We're breathing in a lot of toxic chemicals. We're eating toxic food, a lot of chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, you name it. Glyphosate is in so many of our food products. Our stress levels are all over the place. So we're all really in need of being in a balance. Our bodies need to be balanced. The 4 core systems, which is your detoxification system, your hormonal system, your immune system, and your immune system, gastrointestinal detox, and your, I'm sorry, did I name 4? Your immune, detox, gastrointestinal, and hormonal system. They need to work in perfect harmony. If one of your core systems is off, it's going to throw everything out of whack. So today I'm going to show us, or try with God's help to show us how to bring our body, our core systems into balance and make them really stronger. Just so you know, about 655,000 Americans die from heart disease every single year. That's 1 in every 4 deaths from heart disease. In 2020, an estimated 606,520 people will die of cancer in the United States. 1 of 3 people will develop cancer. So those are huge numbers, almost 700,000 people dying of a lifestyle disease that can be reversed, that it can be healed. And so another thing is diabetes caused 4.2 million deaths worldwide. This was in 2019. That was 2 years ago. And it's only getting worse. This epidemic of diabetes, heart disease, the standard American diet basically is what is the cause for all of these lifestyle diseases that are killing us, okay? Basically processed foods, on my way home from work I see the lines of cars wrapped around McDonald's and Taco Bell and Freddy's and Starbucks, and all of this food, or it's not even food, it's food-like substances, food-like products that we're putting into the body that are doing nothing. They're empty calories, there's no nourishment in processed food, and we're getting a lot of that, in our food supply, even when we go to the grocery store, that's nothing but processed food. So today I'm going to kind of show you, while I'm doing this, a little bit of how to balance your alkaline and your acid levels, okay? And the way that you do that is, we all have acid in our body. We all take in foods that turn to acid. They're forming acid in the body. We all always also take in alkaline foods. The problem with the standard American diet is that it's reversed. We're not taking in enough alkaline foods. Alkaline foods are foods that have vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, chemicals that actually speak to our blood. Our blood is chemistry. So these foods, will either irritate the blood or nourish and provide oxygen to the blood, which then goes into all our trillions of cells that we're made up of. So, the standard American food, you go out to a restaurant, you get a big enchilada plate like that with a little tiny bit of lettuce, or whatever, very few vitamins, minerals. You get maybe a big steak with, a little tiny salad on the side. And so the alkaline acid ratio should be, for every 1 acid that we eat, we should be consuming 4 times the amount of alkaline foods. That's a lot, okay? So I'm going to kind of show you how to do that. So with that said, let's start our morning, okay? You can see here on the slide that 54% of the standard American diet is processed food. 32 is animal products. Now we're getting a lot of toxicity too from our animal products. We're getting in steroids, we're getting antibiotics, we're getting IGF-1, which is a growth hormone that causes cancer, that feeds cancer. A lot of animal products, 32%. 54 whopping of the processed foods, that's a huge number. 11% of vegetables, fruit, nuts, and beans, and then 4% of whole grains. And really that 11% of vegetables in there, that counts for, you know, like French fries and stuff, because this is from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So they count that, although it's been processed, as part of that, as that little piece of the pie. So you can probably cut that in half, and that just goes to show that and that's why America is so sick. That's why we have to wait months to see a doctor, or can't find a parking at the hospital because people are just sick and they're just looking for help from the doctor. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, this is from a Dr. Furman. He's a well-known best-selling author, and he's a medical doctor. And I really like this prescription for nutrition. I think that this is something that we should take into our bodies every single day, or at least 5 days straight, 5 days of very clean eating. And this is just a little bit of it, but at least these, everyone should be eating 1 large salad, 1 ounce of raw nuts and seeds, 1/2 cup of beans or legumes, a large serving of steamed greens, mushrooms or onions, and 3 fresh fruits, okay? So let's start our morning, okay? So I'm going to tell you that how many of us have ever taken an apple and put it in your purse, and then the day goes by and you just don't touch that apple. I know I've been guilty of that, and it lands up, you know, getting a little wilted, and it just every day it gets kind of less and less appetizing. So what you should do, because we want to get 3 fresh fruits into the body every day, why not get it out of the way first thing in the morning? That's the best time on an empty stomach. And the reason I say is because fruit digests so quickly. Fruit will digest in your gut within 20 to 30 minutes. So, you know, a lot of the times I'm going to leave the skin on, but a lot of the times hi there, Marianne, welcome. You know, we go to picnics or family outings, and they have burgers and hot dogs and watermelon, and people just mix a lot of their fruit. You know, they eat a big old, you know, burger and stuff, and then they go and they eat watermelon or grapes and stuff, and they mix that, and so it really disrupts the digestion process. And so what happens is, because fruit digests so quickly, and meat could take up to 4 hours and sometimes longer if it's steak to digest, it putrefies in the stomach, and so it causes a lot of digestion issues, just gas and bloating. And so we really want to make sure that we eat our fruit on an empty stomach, okay? It goes well with vegetables. Fruit does go with vegetables, especially your leafy greens, like your smoothies in the morning. You don't want to mix it with like root vegetables like carrots and other things, but like spinach and kale you can do fruit with, because they can pretty much digest together. But with your heavy meats and your, you know, like your carbs, like your beans and stuff, you do not want to mix fruit. So what I do is I will take a whole apple, chop it up, because if you don't chop it up, it's not going to get into your body, okay? And then let's see, we're going to take, this is what's going to take a little bit longer. Now that grapefruit is in season, I don't know if any of you like grapefruit, but I love grapefruit. And if you can eat a grapefruit every day, especially now that they're in season, I buy a bag of grapefruit at Sprouts. I don't know where my bag went, but okay, it's a bag with about, that's okay, with about, yes please, with about, I don't know, maybe 8 grapefruits, and it's only about $3. So grapefruit is very reasonably priced. It is full of minerals, antioxidants, vitamins, of course. It's a great vitamin C. So I kind of, you know, take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and just, you know, throw your grapefruit in with what I'm basically making is a fruit salad. And this is something that we're not getting enough of, fresh fruits. So again, this is kind of the best time to do it first thing in the morning. You got your fiber in. These fruits are loaded with fiber, and we need fiber to keep regular and just to to heal the body. Basically, we're lacking in so many minerals, vitamins, and fiber. Not getting enough of it. So this is, like I said, this takes a little bit longer, the grapefruit, but it's so worth it because it's such a refreshing bowl of fruit salad. You know, people think maybe like a fruit salad is something that you're going to top with whipped cream or throw some marshmallows, you know. That to me is not a fruit salad because it's just kind of ruins the fruit, you know. We want fresh fruit. So I'm just doing this quickly, but just takes about 3-4 minutes to peel your grapefruit, get all the meat out. I love it. And now that they're in season, they're so reasonably priced. So pick up some grapefruit, okay? I shop at Sprouts a lot. They're pretty reasonable. There's not a whole lot here in Española as far as organic. We can get some maybe organic apples or lemons and some greens, but for the most part, sometimes Walmart is a little bit more expensive than Sprouts. You should do your shopping per week. Don't go once a month and get a ton of green vegetables and fruits because what's going to happen? You know, they're going to go bad. So if you go and you get your fruit, you know that you're going to be eating 3 fruits a day. Make sure that you get enough for the week. And then when you go on the weekend to the grocery store or whatever, you've got your supply for the week, okay? So look how pretty it's looking so far. Sometimes I just do, sometimes I'll just do an apple, 2 apples. You know, if I don't have anything else, I'll just chop up 2 apples, throw a fork in it, and while you're curling your hair, while you're putting on your makeup or whatever, it's just so refreshing, just munching on that apple, the skin of the apple, just taking in all those nutrients. So wonderful. So I just wanted to share that with you. I mean, I've got a cousin bought me these little things from TJ Maxx, and they're really cool because you can rinse your fruits, your vegetables, and the water stays, kind of keeps them fresh so you can rinse them out. But like you can throw in some strawberries too, whatever you have. Like I said, sometimes I don't have but apples. If I'm like really low on my fruit, whatever I have, I just throw it in there and make me a nice fruit salad. I've got some raspberries here. So I'm just going to throw a few little raspberries, maybe another strawberries because I love strawberries. And right there, I know I'm getting my 3 fruits in. Okay? So this, I do this usually in the morning before I go off to work, or I'll take it with me and I'll eat it even on my way to work, you know, with a fork. But just this is just so nourishing. It's so refreshing. And this is what we're lacking in our body, so we want to make sure that we get those 3 fresh fruits in. Chop it up. I can't tell you enough. Don't just get an apple and throw it in your purse because you might never see it again. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you chop it up. It took 5 minutes just to put this together, so just take that extra 5 minutes, okay? So let me share with you just quickly. Consuming sugar, a lot of people say, well, I'm diabetic. Consuming sugar in fruit form is not only harmless, but actually helpful. Eating berries can blunt the insulin spike from high glycemic foods, such as white bread. So if you were going to eat a piece of white bread, which I'm not going to suggest, but it has that effect to actually, it's a carbohydrate, but it'll help to neutralize it's a slow release. It's got so much fiber in it. The fiber of fruit has the gelling effect in your stomach and small intestine that slows the release of sugar and certain phytonutrients in fruits to appear to block the absorption of sugar through the gut wall and into your bloodstream. So I've talked to people who don't eat fruit because they're diabetic, and they say, well, my doctor says that I shouldn't be eating fruit. And so they're lacking in so many vitamins and minerals and just everything that God gave us fruit to heal the body. And so it's really just learning about how to consume them on an empty stomach. Low sugar fruits are better, of course. But I'm going to move on to, so this is breakfast, okay? I'm going to move on to lunch. So where is what you saw the slide, 1 large salad, okay? This is kind of basically, I'm going to move this here. Let me get another bowl for this. Sorry. Okay. So this is my breakfast. Okay. This is going to be my lunch. So let me just rinse this out. A large salad should be about this size, about 4 cups of vegetables, okay? So the way that I do that is when you go shopping, you know, buy the base of your salad. I usually buy one of these, a spring mix, and some romaine. I really like romaine. Sometimes I'll pick up a kale. In fact, I have a little chopped kale, so I'm going to throw it in there because it's so good. And kale is a superfood, loaded with vitamins, minerals. So I'm just going to chop this up. I didn't really prepare or chop it up beforehand, so I could just show you how fast it is, you know, just to put a salad together. So I usually just take one of the hearts. And for those of you that like to meal prep, you can do this on Sunday. Just chop up all your greens and have them ready. Have them ready just to add your toppings, your veggies, or whatever you have for the week, whatever you pick up, okay? So what I do is I just throw in a little bit of romaine lettuce. I'm sorry I'm not composting this stuff because I usually do. Okay. And I mean, we just eyeball it, you know. I'm thinking like 4 cups. Again, 1 acid to 4 alkalines is what you want, okay? You can chop it up. A lot of people, I like mine chopped up really well, but you can chop it up as much as you want. But I'm going to throw some romaine in there, okay? So there's my romaine. And then I'm going to open up my little spring mix, which I've already gotten into it, and grab a handful of spring mix. And I like to chop it up too. I don't really like huge pieces of lettuce, you know what I mean? And the thing is, if you're going to chop up an avocado in it or something, you want to, the finer it's chopped, the more the avocado is just going to kind of saturate your salad. Okay? So this, beautiful greens, and I'm going to throw that in there, kind of toss it around. So a big salad, this is what I eat every day. I take my little bowl. They sell these nice bowls here at Pampered Chef. It comes with a little top here, you know, the top where I can put my little spoon and stuff. So if you guys everybody has a bowl about this size. So this is the base of your salad, okay? So what you can throw in there, and again, you can chop them up if you want to. I usually just leave mine raw, but throw some carrots in there. All right, I left some broccoli out, so you could throw some broccoli in there. And again, you know, if you're not used to eating vegetables and you're not, you know, about the taste, or if maybe they're too plain, just chop them up a little bit. Maybe a little celery. I mean, this is a nice salad. Sometimes my salads are the lettuce and the carrots, you know what I mean, just depending on what I have. But for the most part, it just takes 5 minutes to throw a salad together. And then I'm going to put look at this. Look at this, how beautiful this color. I love purple cabbage. Just throw it on your salad. And just look at how beautiful. Look at the colors. Just so pretty, huh? And you know, when we take in all these colors, look at how beautiful and vibrant the fruits and vegetables are. I mean, we don't pee purple, or we don't pee orange, you know what I mean? Or green. All of these colors stay in us. They're what color our skin. They're what make, you know, so the colors, the life, these are living foods. They stay within us in the body, and they heal. And again, they actually color our skin. So that's just such a cool thing, is to know that God created such amazing fruits and vegetables, you know, with such vibrant colors. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and chop up a little onion. How many of you like purple onion in your salad? Yeah, I love purple onion too. So let's throw some onion in there, and so forth. So that, and then do you remember the seeds and the nuts that we talked about getting into our bodies every day too? What I like to put on my salad are pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are very, very nutritious. It's a good omega-3. It's a good fat, and it's alkaline. Okay, so not this whole thing right now is all alkaline. Okay, so we're not even having any acid in here at all. So I'm going to just throw in, I just put in a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds just like that. Okay, they taste delicious. The only acid that I'm going to put in and maybe a little bit of sugar, because I'm not going to put any dressing in this. Is maybe a few organic dried cranberries, just for a little sweetness. But I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot, just a little sprinkle of cranberries, okay? And then lastly, I'm going to chop up an avocado. Who doesn't love avocado? Right?
Everything tastes better.
Yes. Okay, so let's put some avocado on this salad. I think that my advice, and what I tell people who go to the shop, and we do we do a little scan on them, and we kind of talk to them about the basics, because remember, we're body basics. We talk to them about the basics of how to eat, and really this is basic stuff. This is not fancy at all. I mean, who can't put a salad together, you know what I mean? So I'd like to have another one of these where maybe we can do more recipes that are going to be a little bit more involved. But for right now, look at how this salad is looking. Isn't it beautiful? And it's so refreshing. Really just, and the more that you eat alkaline, just so you know, I want to share this with you. There's so many people who are addicted to sugar, fast foods and stuff. So the more you put in of alkaline foods, the less and less and less and less you're going to crave sugar. That's the only way to beat food addiction is through putting in more alkaline foods, okay? I'm not done. We're going to alkalize it some more, okay? I'm going to take a lemon. I'm just going to squeeze it. I have a lemon squeezer, but this is my dressing. You can mash the avocado with the lemon in here. Just like that. Okay. A lemon. Look, I didn't even put tomato, because maybe you won't have a tomato at home, but you know what I mean? Whatever you have that you do have. But look at how beautiful it's already looking without even the tomato, you know? So you really want to shop for the week, get what you're going to need. And maybe every week you won't get broccoli. Maybe every week you won't, you'll try something different. But for the most part, this is what your beautiful large salad should look like. Okay, this is big. This is big. Some people have said, oh, that's enough to feed, 4 people. No, it's not. When I finish eating this, I'm so full, and it's so like refreshing and just really, really good. Okay, so that's lunch. Okay, so we've got breakfast here and we've got lunch. I didn't even put a banana in. Whatever, like I said, whatever fruits that you have at home. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to, let me show you a little bit more slides here. Berries, which we have in our strawberries and some raspberries, offer potential protection against cancer, and boost the immune system and a guard for the liver and the brain. So again, just the amazing benefits of berries. Next, I'm going to move on to tofu. How many of you have ever tried tofu? How many of you like tofu? Oh, I love tofu. We love tofu. My mom and I, we go to the store and we load up on tofu. I'm going to tell you that organic chicken at Sprouts, a little package of organic chicken is going to be over $10. Your grass-fed beef, because unless you're buying organic meats, you're getting a lot of chemicals into your body. Antibiotics, like I said, steroids. Unless you're buying organic meat, you're going to be paying a lot of money, okay? This little package of extra firm non-GMO organic tofu is $1.69. $1.69. So, and tofu has a bad rap. The meat and the dairy industry say that that tofu, it has estrogen in it, and it causes all kinds of breast cancer in women and blah blah blah. But you can see here on the slide that tofu is a good source of plant-based protein, calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. And so basically, tofu has shown, nutritional science is making huge leaps, and they have proven that tofu is actually protective against cancer, breast cancer in women, ovarian cancer, your reproductive cancers, as well as prostate cancer in men. And so tofu is something that we should be consuming often. I mean, it does have phytoestrogens in it, which are plant estrogens. So they do not work the same way that our human estrogen works. So tofu is really highly beneficial. If anybody wants more information on the benefits of tofu, just leave me your information. I can send you some information about how nutritional science has backed up the total benefits of tofu, okay? So what I'm going to do here is, you can see that I took it out, I drained it, and I pressed it with a little bit of paper towel so that it's so that I took out some of the water, okay? What we're going to make is a tofu scramble. And for those of you that, eat eggs, the only difference with this is that there's no cholesterol in tofu. There's no saturated fat. Basically, tofu is a perfect plant protein. So the way that we do that is we, oh goodness, I need a skillet. Let me move this. I'm going to move this here. I'm going to put this here. Just give me a second, please. Okay. Let me move this here. Kind of dried up a little bit, but that's okay. We won't let that happen when we're actually cooking for ourselves. Okay, so the way that you make tofu scramble is you're going to go ahead and put a little bit. We really, especially if there's some heart disease in your family, or you just don't, have issues with the heart, we really want to use not much oil. There's 120 calories packed in 1 tablespoon of oil, and they're absorbed quickly into the bloodstream. So you really want to, if you're going to have anything, I'd rather you eat olives than olive oil, or walnuts over walnut oil. But for the most part, we're going to just add a little bit, probably not even a tablespoon, maybe a half a tablespoon, just to kind of coat the bottom, okay? So we're going to let that heat up, and this is really easy. And this can be eaten like after the fruit, because usually the fruit, sometimes you get hungry an hour after or something. Take an hour to let your fruit digest. And if you feel like you want something before lunchtime, you can do a quick tofu scramble or another meal. But for the most part, the fruit is what you should start with, okay? So then next, what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the pan like that. And I'm going to grab a fork. Let's see. And you can just start to kind of mash it up, just like that. Okay. So you're basically going to be mashing it to the consistency of scrambled egg, okay? Which is easy to do with a fork. You can do so many different things with tofu, which is why I love it. It's so versatile. It absorbs flavors, it absorbs spices. And again, it's so protective and it's so cheap, Doesn't have IGF-1. Alrighty. So there is our tofu. We're going to let it cook for about 2 or 3 minutes. Oops, sorry about that. 3 or 4 minutes, okay? And I didn't heat up the oil a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and just let that cook down, okay? And while we're doing that, let me show you a couple little slides here. So, and this kind of goes back to the salad. By eating an assortment of colorful, nutrient-rich plants, we can make our bodies resistant to cancer. These are so anti-inflammatory, okay? What causes cancer and diabetes and heart disease, autoimmune disease, and other chronic ailments, even if we have a genetic predisposition or have been exposed to causative agents. A lot of people say, well, heart disease is in my genetics. My family has heart disease or whatever. Heart disease is kind of like the bullet in the gun. But your lifestyle is what really pulls the trigger. We have the ability to control our genetics with our lifestyle, which is just incredible. That's how God created the body, to really heal and to take care of itself. And so really, the whole idea here with alkaline and acid, remember 4 times alkaline, 1 time acid, is to bring inflammation down in the body. Because that acid, when we're too acidic, and that's what's happening here in the United States, is that we're too acidic, and that acid in our blood takes a huge toll on the kidneys. And so the kidneys are burdened with the acid that it has to assimilate out of the body. And so, so we want to make sure that we have that ratio good enough. And it's just bringing in all these anti-inflammatory foods. And when we do that, again, the acid is really what causes inflammation, okay? Like a soda, for instance. A soda on the pH balance on your acid-alkaline chart, it's one step above battery acid. So it has a huge acid toll. And that acid is what causes inflammation, and inflammation is the #1 thing that starts disease in the body. When there is inflammation in the body, that's where all chronic disease starts. It starts always at inflammation. So you can see here, we're going to be using dark leafy vegetables, which are the healthiest planet on the earth. As whole foods go, they offer the most nutrition per calorie, okay? Just a second, I'm going to get a sip of water. So, if anybody wants water too, there's some here. Let me just grab a... Just give me a second. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to be using some of these greens, which we've already done in our salads. Want to show you what 400 calories of oil looks like. And so basically the whole idea here, remember when I talked about the more alkaline foods that you bring into the body, the less and less and less you crave sugar and fast foods? It's called crowding out. It's called a crowding out effect. And that's basically what we do, is we crowd out the things that are not filling us up only with calories, only with empty calories, and you're actually filling your stomach with high density but low calorie foods, and that are providing all the minerals and antioxidants and stuff needed, okay? So for the eggs now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of turmeric. You can see here spices are so incredibly important. These little spices here I get at Sprouts, they're $3.49. I know that because I buy so many of them. But you know, you can go broke buying a whole bunch altogether. You know what I mean? So because I'm there every week, I would pick up a new one and pick up a new one and just try different spices. And before you know it, you have a huge collection of spices. So much so that I have to alphabetize them in my pantry because I can never find what I'm looking for. But turmeric is what makes, and it's good for inflammation. It's what makes your eggs the color of egg. Okay. So you can just mix some, you can see how it's turning. Kind of looks like scrambled eggs, huh? Now, one thing that I didn't put in here, and see, these are really just recipes that you know, you don't really need a specific recipe for. You can do your own thing. You can chop up a young onion or some onion, and before you even put the tofu in, have a little bit of cooked onion in there. But now we're going to add a few more spices. We're going to add a little bit of garlic powder. So we'll add about a teaspoon of garlic powder. We're going to add a little bit of sea salt, just to salt it. And we're going to add, what else are we going to add to the tofu, Mom? Oh, this is nutritional yeast. This is not the same as yeast that you would use like in bread. This is something that is optional, definitely, but it kind of gives it more of like a little cheesy flavor, which is always nice. So, especially when you're not eating dairy. But I'm just going to put a little bit of, not even a lot, just a little bit of nutritional yeast. And then you let that cook down. And again, you're not limited to spices. I mean, you can do, you can put whatever you want if you like cumin, if you like the flavors of, but for the most part, just the turmeric and the salt and the pepper, a little bit of pepper, some onion, whatever you think, and you have yourself a wonderful tofu scramble that is going to be a lot more beneficial nutritionally than your eggs that are loaded with cholesterol and saturated fat. Look at your eggs. So you just let them cook down a little bit, and basically the end result, thanks to my mom, the end result looks something like this. And who doesn't love chili, right? You got to have your chili with your eggs. So After you let it cook, I mean, not too much. It'll dry out a little bit. If you like your scrambled eggs a little bit dry, well, then you leave them a little longer, but to the consistency of scrambled eggs. And so I am going to, oh yes, see that? I had a bell pepper here. You can add a bell pepper in it, whatever. You can do onions, as a matter of fact, that the onions are chopped and ready for something else. But yeah, I mean, this is, don't let this be the only way. In other words, you can just, go to town with your scrambled eggs. You know what I put, whatever you want. But this is, for the most part, just plain scrambled eggs. I did make some that were really easy while I kind of prepared them in advance. They're a little bit dried up because I prepared them in advance, but they're actually good. Just roasted garlic. All I put on this roasted garlic is some, roasted broccoli is garlic, minced garlic, and I added some lemon zest and some lemon juice to it. So this right here could be a wonderful breakfast after the fruit. Very tasty, okay? We don't need the bread, we don't need the tortilla. Trust me, you've had all this fruit, right? And then you have this right after, okay? So that's a nice, you're giving everything that you need there. And just so you know though, tofu is on the list for acidity. It's not very, let's see, tofu is going to be mild acidity. So you really want to balance out with a lot of alkaline, and that's where you're getting the broccoli from. Plus you had all this alkaline. So you're really seeing that you're getting more alkaline than acid, okay? I'm going to kind of just turn these off. You already kind of saw the end product. So let's turn those off. Okay. So where are we? So let's see. I'm going to tell you that boys and girls eating 2 or more servings of vegetables a day appear to have only half the odds of suffering from allergic asthma. And it's so true. Like kids that we've scanned at the shop where I work with asthma, when we ask them about their diet, they don't even eat fruits or vegetables. They're like, how many fresh fruits are you eating every single day? And they're like, oh, maybe once a week, And so that's why we're seeing such an uprise in asthma among kids, because they're not getting the nourishment that they should. They go to school and they're getting a hot dog and a hamburger and, all these processed foods on their tray that they're not being sustained nutritionally, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you know of anybody who's suffering from asthma, just increase alkaline foods into their bodies, okay? I'm going to go back. Remember I told you about the soda? The soda, here we go. We want our kids also not only with the alkaline foods, but to be drinking pure water. Okay? Water is so essential for the body. If a child weighs 100 pounds, they should be drinking 50 ounces of water. So half your body weight in ounces. So you get the idea. So water is so essential, and now kids are just going for sodas. They're going for those little drinks with the straws. They're just a lot of processed sugars and everything. A lot of the teenagers now are going for the monster drinks with the creatine in it, the high caffeine. All of these things are causing inflammation in the body. So we really want to have our kids, our grandkids, learn to love water. And you know what's really good in your water? Especially when you're very acidic, is lemon. Squeeze some lemon in your water, because when the lemon gets into the bloodstream, it becomes alkaline. And so alkaline actually helps with detoxing the liver. So in fact, lemon is high on the list for alkaline. And I'm going to pass these out to you so you guys can kind of have a little idea. Maybe, Marianne, do you mind just passing maybe around there a little bit? Oh, and those of you on Zoom, if you want a list of alkaline, high alkaline, and high acid foods, you can just chat me or get a hold of me, and I can email you something. But lemon is very, very highly alkaline, okay? Let me show you this next slide. It would take 32 glasses of water to neutralize the acidity in 1 can of soda. So let that sink in. 32 glasses of water to neutralize the acidity in one can of soda. So, you know, that acid, that high acid load really does take a heavy toll on the kidneys, on the liver, on the skin, on the you know, we have the liver, the kidneys, the skin, the colon. We're always constantly trying to detox things out of the body. God created our bodies with the amazing capacity to heal, but it's always trying to get things out of the body. But when we continue to put things into the body, we create that heavy acid load, and so it puts a burden on our organs, and until we get to a point where our organs just can't go anymore, and they're like, okay, I can't. And that's where you start to get sick with chronic disease and organ failure, just a lot of bad things. So just keep that in mind, okay? I thought this was kind of cute. This little cartoon, so the doctor says, so you have 2 choices. We could perform triple bypass surgery, where we take a vein out of your thigh and open up your chest so we can sew the vein onto your coronary artery. This costs more than $100,000 and will keep you laid up for at least 2 months. Or we could put you on a vegan diet. And the man says, a vegan diet? Gee, doc, that sounds pretty extreme. I don't know about that, but to me, it's the other extreme, okay?
My sister, somebody's insisting, so it's the second time that
Yes.
they asked the question.
Yes.
What about seltzer water? I don't know if they're talking about alkaline or not. I don't know if that's where they're coming from.
Yeah.
The question. What about
Seltzer water, you know, at our shop, we really try to gear people into eat right according to your blood type. And I know that like type O blood, seltzer water is okay. Type A, I think, is not so much. So, I mean, I would really just as body basics, I would really prefer just plain pure water. Whether it's alkaline water or purified water. You know, I get my water from the water store there, because sometimes we see water contaminants come up in people's tests. So at that point we tell them, well, have you checked your well water, or maybe you're drinking too much bottled water? Because if that's the case, you know, bottled water, you don't know where it was bottled, how long it took for, you know, for it to get to the grocery store on the back of a semi truck. You know, temperature changes, and they're not the BPA-free bottles. So you're getting a lot of leaching into your water. And sometimes we pick that up on the scan. We see a lot of water contamination. So really try to get your water from a good source, if at all possible, because water is essential for our health. We need water in our brain, our kidneys, our organs need water, the tissue, the muscles in our body need water. And so we can drink sometimes a gallon of water and still be dehydrated. And the reason for that is because of maybe water contamination or just herbicides and pesticides kind of getting in the way of how we're hydrating. So really you want a good source of water, okay? Bottled water is not our best friend. I'm going to move on now to, what are we doing now? So we did the scramble with some broccoli, okay? Now we're going to do, okay, we're going to do our I went too far. I did the salad first. It should have been the scramble first if you want extra breakfast. But then this is your plant-based lunch, okay? So this is a plant-based lunch. Now, if that's not enough, if that doesn't fill you up all that alkaline food, the next thing that I would recommend for you to add to that, which would be a low acid, are these. Beans, they're good for your heart. The more you eat them, the longer you live. So beans are so essential to your, you know, these are adzuki beans. I buy these a lot. The Japanese use these adzuki beans, and they're very type O blood or type A blood, whatever you may be. They're medicine. They're medicinal. So beans have kind of the same effect as some of those low glycemic fruits, is that they have a resistant starch in them, so that when they go into our gut, they feed the bacteria, the good bacteria in our gut, and they actually create good bacteria in our gut. So a lot of people that say, well, I can't eat beans, I'm just, you know, I get gassy or whatever, it's because you're not used to them. So if you can start introducing more beans And if you remember correctly, the nutritarian prescription said that we should be eating beans every single day. So that would mean, you know, cooking a pot of beans.
Where do you get the Azuki beans at?
Azuki beans, I buy these at Sprouts in the bin section. And they're organic. They're not super expensive. They're easier to cook than pinto beans. You can actually cook these over your stove in an hour and a half, maybe an hour. Just keep them on low so they're simmering. Throw some onion in there, throw some garlic, throw a little bit of sea salt, some carrot, whatever you want. They're just so versatile, just like the scramble. You can just throw anything you want in these, and they're all living foods. Everything that we've gone over so far is living whole food that God created. So there's no processed foods here, and it, you know, if you're in a rush, these are also good. Organic black-eyed peas, which are medicinal, also at Sprouts in the bin section, or they have them pre-packaged like this too. They cook fairly fast also. If you're in a bind, you know, for your pantry, you want to buy organic beans. You know, look at the ingredients here. Organic garbanzo beans and water. So you want to look at your labels. If there's any kind of preservatives and stuff in it, it's not, you know, maybe great for shelf life, but not so great for human life, okay? So you really want to eat as close to natural as possible, okay? So now, what are we doing?
So is it just beans, or can we have other types of...
You can have hummus. You can have hummus, garbanzo beans, with your salad, with maybe some, you could dip the baby carrots that are in there with some, that's what I do sometimes if I don't have sometimes I'll make some tofu, some baked tofu, which I have a recipe for, but because of time, I'm only concentrating on one recipe each. But I do baked tofu in place of like chicken breast on top of your salad. When I don't do the baked tofu, and if you guys want that recipe for the baked tofu, let me know. It's excellent. Thanks to Lori, who I work with. She's the one that gave me that recipe, and I've been addicted to that ever since. But you can do hummus, you can do beans, you can do, but the idea here is make it a plant-based lunch. We're already over-consuming too much protein here in the United States. We're overeating protein. And all protein, just so you know, originates in plants. All protein. The cow, she gets her protein from the plants, from the grass she eats. The chicken, you know, all of the protein in animals comes from the plants that they're eating, okay? So if we can eliminate the cow and the chicken, everything else, we can go directly to the plants and get just the amount of protein that we need. And so just to, you know, to tell you that all of these vegetables are high in protein. As a matter of fact, a cup of broccoli has more protein per calorie than a steak. So we have a lot of protein here. And if you want extra protein, then that's when you're going to go for your beans. And beans, again, every single day, every day. These are good for diabetics because it's a carbohydrate that, again, that is just releasing carbohydrate slowly in the bloodstream slowly. So they keep you full, and they don't increase your blood glucose spike.
So any legume?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any kind.
What you brought on Sabbath? What's that?
Oh, lentils, yeah. So there's so many different recipes. You can go online. If you guys need some ideas, just reach out to me and I can send you some of my favorite ideas. But yeah, a cup of lentils would be excellent with that salad, you know? So, black beans, I mean, quinoa, there's so many different varieties of proteins. As a matter of fact, this is quinoa. This is a protein, high protein in a grain. So this is something that we use a lot as well. A superfood, definitely. Got a lot of fiber in there as well. But I'm going to show you now how to, we got breakfast, we got lunch, let's do dinner, okay? And I'm going to show you how to make some black bean burgers, okay? So here we go. So I'm going to, I didn't have time to cook black beans. So again, when you're really hungry and you don't have time, just have some beans in your pantry. And I don't know how to open this can. Yes, I do. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this can of organic black beans and I'm just going to drain them. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes, organic quinoa. As you want to buy as close to or pretty much everything organic, your fruits and your vegetables. Just so you know, if you want to write this down, there's a website that is called the Dirty Dozen Fruits and Vegetables, and then there's the Clean 15 Fruits and Vegetables. So the Clean 15 have a thicker skin. Not necessarily, you don't have to buy them organic all the time. So if there's if you want to kind of see which are the dirtiest, like your berries are very toxic, have a heavy toxic load, you definitely want to buy your berries organic and so forth. You can also do frozen, which are just as good. Okay, so sometimes I tell people we want to take better care of our vehicles. We want the best gas and the best oil. We want to keep that car running because got to keep that car maintained and running because we need it. But what about us? Like God created our bodies to run and optimally, we have the ability to heal, and so why not give God the very best? When we take our money and go to Walmart and buy maybe chips and sodas and cookies and cereals and health nut bars and things that are probably loaded with glyphosate and put our money toward, a few little basic organic ingredients, you'll see that, our bodies will start to run better, and that's where disease, by the way, cannot thrive in an alkaline body. Disease cannot thrive in an alkaline body. So, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these beans, I'm going to make some black bean burgers, okay, in here. And the only thing is I didn't bring, or wait, maybe did I bring my masher? Masher, anybody? Masher, I'm going to see if I have a masher here. I think, oh yeah, look, a masher. Okay, so I'm just going to mash the beans a little bit, okay? I don't want to, just kind of, you don't want to get them so mashed that they're kind of like really mushy, but you want to leave a few whole ones. Just like that. Okay, so you can see here, there's your mashed beans, okay? Then I'm going to put in, I don't even have a recipe, but I'm just gonna, I kind of know what I have to do. So I'm gonna put in 2 little young onions. If you guys like onions, throw some onions in there. And then I had Irene chop up a little mushrooms. Mushrooms are anti-cancer. These actually promote they stop the growth of cancer cells that's growing in the body. So mushrooms are really beneficial, and they're on the list too to eat every day. So I just put in about, I don't know, maybe 4 mushrooms just chopped up really good. This is a half a cup of walnuts. So I chop this up. I have a little chopper, or you can just chop them up however, but just a few little walnuts if you guys like walnuts. Good source of omega-3s here, and they're, again, walnuts now they're good for the brain, yes. They tend to be a little bit more acidic, okay? So this is pretty much going to be our acid. Okay, except for like the onions but we have some acid going in here, so we're going to put the walnuts. Doesn't mean we should not eat acid. It just means that we need to balance with a lot more alkaline. Your quinoa, here's your superfood. This is alkaline, okay? This is a half a cup of quinoa I'm going to throw. It's already cooked, yes. And the way that you cook quinoa is simple. My mom showed me this is for just kind of like you would rice. For 1 cup of quinoa, you just put 2 cups in your little saucepan of water and then throw a cup of quinoa in there and let it cook for about 15 minutes. Fluff it up with a fork. You can add a little bit of salt to it. Fluff it up with a fork and you're pretty much, it's done. And this is,
you rinse before.
Yes, rinse your quinoa before, okay? Just like you would rice, you want to just rinse it off. So here's the quinoa, it's going in, okay? I'm going to add, and look at the green chili. Thank you, Mom. The green chili, either red chili or green chili with the tofu here. That would be excellent. Chili is also jalapenos, chili peppers, vitamins, minerals right there, okay? Now I'm going to put in a little bit of tamari sauce, which is kind of like soy sauce. It's not as salty as soy sauce, but it's called tamari. It's gluten-free soy sauce. So I'm going to add that in, okay? And did I have other stuff? My salt and stuff? Where is all that stuff? The salt. I don't know. I don't know where they are, but I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of sea salt, okay? Just a little bit, just to season it up a bit. And then I'm going to mix it. And what I do here, let me grab my vegetable broth. What I like to do here is you have all these nice ingredients, right? And I'm going to grab a spoon, if I can find one. Next time I'll be a little bit more organized. But I had a lot of help, and I want to thank, again, my mom and Irene and Carmen and Pastor for all the help here today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mix that up. You can see it's already starting to form a nice, you can use this like taco meat. You can fill up tacos with that. Oh, I'm going to put some garlic salt. I put garlic salt in everything, so we'll put some garlic. If you have time, why not put a couple cloves fresh, but I don't have time right now, so I'm just going to put some garlic salt. Okay. Oh, you can put some bell pepper. Chop it up real fine and throw some bell pepper in there. So you can do so much with black bean burgers, okay? So basically your black beans and your quinoa are your base that kind of hold it together, and then you put all your vegetables, your walnuts, just make it extra delicious. If it's too dry, and this one doesn't seem too dry, I think maybe I put a little bit more tamari than I'm used to, but I'm just going to stick my hands in it. But I'm going to go ahead and you can see, oh, I know what I forgot. That's why I forgot my oats. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands. I forgot my oats. So I know it's okay. I think, let me see. So that's okay. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just put, I think it's like maybe a half a cup, just a little bit of oats. I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to put about maybe a half a cup of oats, okay? And your oats should be to just a good high quality oat. You know, I get the extra thick, but they're non-GMO. I usually buy the organic ones. I didn't have them now, but where is my, so I'm just going to pulse the oats a little bit, okay? Okay, and I'm going to pulse them. Okay, and I'm going to throw some oats in here. Ah, I know what I forgot. The flour, it was actually the brown rice flour. You can use oats or you can use brown rice flour just to kind of hold it together. I did the oats, okay? But basically what you do is you just mix it up with your hands and you form these patties. And the brown rice flour that I use is this one here. Brown rice flour. It's better than your wheat flour. I'm just going to put a tiny bit in. Feels a little bit wet. Okay. You could use this to make your red chili too, so you're not using just the wheat flour. And then once you have your mixture here, like this, you just grab it and you start to form your patties, okay? And once you form your patties, then you're going to put them on a sheet, on a baking sheet, and I'm going to rinse my hands off. And I'm going to show you the finished result here. It looks like this. You put a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, just even on a paper towel on a skillet, on a non-stick skillet. So not even maybe a teaspoon of olive oil on the bottom of your skillet. And you fry your patty, not fry them, but just really, and look at these beautiful patties. These go good with like a lettuce wrap, and then of course you can add your, this is what I was going to add to them, some alkaline, some kale with mushrooms on the side. And my kale really dried up though, but you can squeeze some lemon in it. Squeeze some, the kale has some garlic, mushroom, a little bit of lemon juice, and a little bit of sea salt. So now you have a lot of alkalinity in these patties with a side of kale and mushrooms and garlic and stuff. So everything basically that we've made today so far is just is ingredients from food. Nothing is artificial. Nothing is processed at all. Vegetable broth I use a lot. It's good to have in your pantry. So if you need vegetable broth to make like your lentils or some soups, I added a little bit now to the black bean burgers just to kind of give it a little. No, I didn't because it was wet enough. But you get the idea. So just things that are good for your pantry. They also have like your diced tomatoes, which is really good as well. I'm going to go to another slide just so I can kind of show you here. Here you want to shop for the reddest strawberries, the blackest blueberries, the most scarlet tomato, the darkest green broccoli you can find. The colors are anti-aging, anti-cancer, antioxidants, okay? So the next thing I'm going to show you is the, oh, and I didn't really get to show you how to do the kale salad here. You just take some kale, basically. I put in maybe about half a tablespoon of olive oil just to kind of let it go through, massage it a little bit. And then what you're going to do is you're going to throw it into a skillet. I'm not going to do it now because of lack of time, but you throw it into a skillet. You can mince some garlic over it right away. Mushrooms, I threw some sliced mushrooms in there, which are, again, anti-cancer. Your mushrooms are going to look like this. Oh, I don't know where my mushrooms are. Anyway, they actually sell organic mushrooms at Walmart, which is, I'm really happy about that. So you can throw some mushrooms into this. You can throw some garlic and just let it cook down a little bit, maybe 5 minutes while you're tossing it. Then when you get it out, put it on your plate next to your bean patty and squeeze a little lemon juice on it with a little bit of sea salt, or you can add some garlic. Any of your spices here, you can add some chili flakes. If you guys like chili flakes, it's really you want to just season it. And that's the reason for all these wonderful spices is that think of them as little vitamins and minerals, because that's really what they are. They're grown from the earth. They're coming from plants from the earth. And so when we season our food with vitamins and minerals, that's exactly what we're doing. We're just sprinkling more and more vitamins and minerals onto our food. So very healing. Spices are very healing, and they make our food look delicious and taste delicious, okay? So the next thing I'm going to show you, and this would be like for, I think of like cheat weekends of maybe that's where you do the bread, maybe a little bit of whole grain or a good quality bread, or cookies, or even cheeses. Sometimes like for a Frito pie, don't ever feel like you can ever have a Frito pie again. They sell this. This is a medium cheddar style plant-based cheese. Just so you know, cheese and all dairy basically is considered now with nutrition, the science behind dairy is that it's a carcinogen. Dairy is making us sick. And that's why there's so many sick people, because we here in America, we're heavy meat, cheese, sugar, oil, flours. And so we're going to really, really try, and that's what I try to tell people is really, stay away from dairy. It's so inflammatory. These cows, the dairy industry, keep their cows pregnant 9 out of 12 months. They're artificially inseminated, they're pregnant. So you can imagine a 2,000-pound animal. You can imagine the estrogen that's running through her body, And so dairy, milk, cheese, it's hormonally active. And so what happens is that her hormones, when we take in the dairy food, is coming into our bodies. And so that disrupts our own hormones. And so it's really important. I tell people dairy is not designed for human consumption. Dairy milk was created for that, that 60-pound calf to grow to 800 pounds in her first year of life. So it has that much protein in it. And it's got IGF-1, which is again that growth hormone. IGF-1 is it's a growth hormone. Basically, it's like a light switch. You take it in and something grows. Whether we grow obese or whether one of those cancer cells within our bodies starts to take, gets some of the IGF-1 and starts to create a tumor or starts to create cancer. So I really tell people that the number one food or thing that's really inflaming us is dairy. And now in the world that we live in today, there's so many different alternatives, So this is like a treat, weekend where, and I don't really crave cheese, but I mean, if it's going to be a Frito pie and you want to, just grate a little bit over your Frito pie, instead of using Fritos, I like to use, and again, this is thanks to Lori, kind of showed me this. Instead of your Fritos, chop up some alkaline celery. like, you know, the size of Fritos and throw them on the bottom of your beans and your chili. And they're crunchy. They taste like, I mean, you'd never even know. They're like so good. And then you put a little bit of cheese over it, and you throw a big pile of romaine lettuce and some avocado and some onions and salsa. You know what I mean? You just make your every meal, just think alkaline. You just want alkaline, alkaline, alkaline. Okay, so the last thing I'd like to show you is this recipe here. And I used my bowl. So I'm going to get a new bowl. Let me see here. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this bowl here, we're going to do some cookies, okay? Now the cookies, again, they're just healthy cookies. They're going to be made with food ingredients, nothing artificial. So, and they're so easy. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to, everything's here. Thank you, Carmen, for that. So I'm going to take 1 cup of pulsed oatmeal. Sorry. So I'm going to put some oatmeal in here, a cup. Okay. Then I am going to do a 1/4 cup of brown rice flour. Okay. And that's what I'm using. It usually calls for regular flour, but I'm using brown rice. So a 1/4 cup of brown rice flour, and a teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, okay, are going in. And a little bit of salt. I think it was like a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, okay? So that even seemed like a lot, but I'm going to put those are in. And this is my dry ingredients, okay? I'm going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Where's my cinnamon? Right here. We didn't measure this one out. Nope, that's cayenne. Cinnamon. Okay. So I don't have this one measured out, so I'm just going to eyeball it, okay? This is your cinnamon. I like cinnamon. That's a 1/2 teaspoon, or a 1/2 teaspoon, okay? So there's your cinnamon. Okay. So this is our dry ingredients. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whisk it, just mix it all together. Literally, it takes 10 minutes to put these cookies together, you know, and we don't have to have cookies every single day. You know, cookies, you know, the ones you buy at the store are loaded with all kinds of preservatives and artificial ingredients that they can sit on the grocery store shelf for 2 years and nothing will go wrong with them, you know. So we want to make sure that we're using whole food, whole ingredients. In another bowl now, I'll use this bowl. I am going to actually take 6 dates, okay? You can get these at Walmart. I've seen them at Walmart before, the Majol dates. What you do is you want to take out the seed, or I'm sorry, the pit. So just open it up and take out the pit. If you've had them in the refrigerator, sometimes they get hard, because they're cold, so you want to soak them a little bit in warm water, but for the most part, these ones were out. So I am going to put 6 dates. This is going to be my wet ingredients, okay? I'm going to put 6 dates in here. Whoops. And then I'm going to put, where's my cinnamon? Cinnamon.
Behind your computer.
Oh, behind my computer? No, my vanilla. I'm so sorry. Vanilla.
It's a little container. It's there somewhere.
Really? I didn't, oh, here it is. Here's my vanilla. So I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of vanilla, okay?
They're over there on the
In the cups?
The cups are back there.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
It's our fault.
So I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon, okay? Actually, no, I'm going to put a teaspoon. I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla. No, a 1/2 teaspoon, sorry. That's too much. Vanilla's a little expensive. So I'm going to put 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla in with the dates, okay? Then, this is something that we should have on hand in our kitchen too. Then I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of water. I'm not going to use that water. I'm going to use this water. Again, we just want to use as clean as possible. Alrighty. So there goes my water. Okay. That's it. I'm going to close the lid. And I'm going to pulse it just so it kind of, whoops. Okay, it's done. So now I'm going to put this date mixture, which is gold, into this little bowl. Okay, so you can scrape that out. This is what's going to sweeten our cookies. There's no sugar in these cookies, which is awesome because that's what we're trying to do, is keep as much sugar out of the body as possible. This is a natural sugar. It's a high sugar, but that's why I say cookies, we shouldn't be eating them anyway. This is kind of more like for a treat, when, the kids are coming over, you want to offer a cookie to somebody. They're very dense, and so they fill you up. They really do, and they're just so, if somebody has a sweet tooth, these really do satisfy a sweet tooth. It's not like you have to eat 6 of them in order to be satisfied, you know what I mean? So, next I'm going to put in a 1/4 cup of almond butter, okay, with the dates. This is still the mixture, the wet mixture. I love almond butter. Again, a good fat, good source of fat. And then lastly, in this mixture is going to be 2 tablespoons of vegan butter. I'm using vegan butter because I'm vegan. So, but we already measured it out, and so basically you can get this at Walmart or Sprouts or anywhere, but this is the butter that I would recommend on weekends, when you're going to have that piece of toast. Earth Balance. It's a great, it's not as processed as anything else, but for the most part it's plant-based, okay? So I'm going to put the 2 tablespoons in my wet mixture. Okay, and I'm just going to mix it up really nice. Yum. See that? How yummy that is? Okay, well, let's just mix it up, and then I'm going to put it in with my dry mixture. Okay, so let me just combine that. Don't want to waste any of that, okay? And then I'm going to use just a little spatula just to kind of stir it together, try to start to mix it together. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and, my hands are pretty clean, but I'm going to wash them again. I'm going to go at it with my hands this time. Okay, so kind of like when you're making, a bread or a tortilla or something, you just want to, not that I'm suggesting you do that, but you want to go ahead and start combining it together, okay? And you're making your cookie dough. And it really comes together nice. It's just kind of like, you can see it's starting to come together. Next, I'm going to, kind of still a little crumbly, a little bit dry. You can kind of see what it's looking like. Okay, so now I'm going to add a tablespoon of flax seeds, another super high omega-3, loaded with antioxidants. Good for brain health, for everything. I'm going to throw those flax seeds in there. And you're going to see that it's kind of crumbly, but it's, it comes together nicely, but it's a little bit dry. So what I do, now that it's kind of combined, is I take about 2 tablespoons of plant-based milk. A lot of people like the unsweetened almond milk. I like the one from Sprouts. I buy the macadamia nut milk, but it's unsweetened, and it's just a little bit of plant milk, just to kind of, so you put it in there just so it comes together a little bit. Okay. You wanted a nice consistency where you can form your little cookies, okay? And that's it. That's it. Now you take your little your little cookies. I didn't maybe mix it, you know, I probably take a couple more minutes, but just because of time, you can make them about that thick. Just little cookies like that, just form them. Put them on a little baking sheet. And, just give me a second. Once you have your little cookies on a baking sheet, you put them in the oven at 350 for about 15 minutes, okay? When you take them out of the oven, you let them cool completely. And this is what they look like. Ingredients, food ingredients. So you can see the beautiful cookies here. So I made a dozen cookies just here in you know, less than 10 minutes. Of course, they take about 15 minutes in the oven. I'm going to let you guys taste them and see what you think of these good cookies, okay? So these are this is your dessert, okay? For those that really have a sweet tooth. But for the most part, let me see. Okay, that's it with the slides really. So basically, we kind of went through breakfast, you know, kind of an idea. I want you guys to realize the importance of water. Like I said, half your body weight in ounces. So if you get yourself something like this, would be good that you can carry with you everywhere you go. Yes?
Jasmine Castro wants to know how much flaxseed.
1 tablespoon.
Oh, say it.
1 tablespoon of flaxseed in the cookies. Yeah.
You
So,
won't hear me asking the
oh yeah.
question, you hear you.
So here is your cookie dough. Here's your cookie dough, and here's your finished results.
And flaxseed is good for your heart. And
Flaxseed is good for your brain, your heart. They actually look like epithelial cells that line your heart, that line the arteries in your heart. They're good for everything. Flaxseed is it's medicinal for your blood type O and blood type A. Flaxseed is very medicinal. So I don't want to give you a cookie first before you try anything else, but for the most part, that's it. Yeah, so if there's any questions, I just kind of, the whole idea here is really just bringing in alkaline foods. Again, acid promotes inflammation, and inflammation promotes disease. So we really want to just be drinking really pure water with lemon juice. We want to be eating a big salad every day. We want to be eating beans every day. We want to be eating 3 fresh fruits a day. And when we do that, we start to crowd out other things that are doing us harm. And the more and more alkaline foods you bring into the body, the less and less sugar you're going to crave, and processed food. So this is all living food. Everything here that we've done today is living food. It's whole food. It's created by God. And you know, everything that's out there in the world, you know, all the fast foods and stuff, you know, they're not using organic fruits and vegetables to serve the public. You know what I mean? They are not you're not getting good quality food when you go out and eat. So the best thing to do is to eat at home and keep it simple. I mean, a lot of these ingredients, beans for the most part, your quinoas are pretty inexpensive, and these are things that you want to have on hand all the time. Okay? So if anybody has any questions.
What were those red beans called?
These are called adzuki beans. Adzuki. Adzuki. And they use these beans a lot in Asian countries, you know, where the cancer risks, like in China, were very, very low. But now that KFC and McDonald's and Burger Kings are making their way into different, you know, all the Chinese country or the Asian countries, more and more people are getting sick. So, but for the most part, these are very medicinal beans. So they're great you can cook them even in a little bit of vegetable broth or just water with your garlic salt, with your minced garlic, onions, whatever it is that you enjoy. But beans should be a part of our everyday. Seeds, I really recommend flax seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds over your salad, those kind of seeds. And then, you know, when you're going to work and stuff, you know, you can take like little canisters or little with your greens, because if you have this on your desk at work, chances are you're going to eat it. If they're not there, you're not going to eat them. Some other snack ideas. I didn't really talk about snack ideas, but here are some. Here's kind of your weekend food. You know what I mean? Like this is like a flourless sprouted whole grain English muffins, cinnamon raisin, like on the weekend, instead of a pancake or something, you can do an English muffin with maybe some almond butter and some fresh, strawberries or something on top. They have this dairy-free yogurt that I eat a lot. It's soy-based. This could be a good snack for when you're craving something sweet as well. A little bit of, I usually top it with a little bit of organic granola, just make it extra yummy. Other snack ideas, if you're craving something chocolate, this would be a lot better for you. An organic, I got these at Trader Joe's. Just a little piece of chocolate kind of sometimes satisfies the cravings. Or some almond butter or a few almonds with an apple is a good snack. And then again, this is just organic garlic hummus with your veggies, Sometimes you don't have time for the big salad. You want to get some veggies in. Make sure that you're getting a ton of them in with your acid. So this is the acid, low acid, and this is all the alkaline, okay? So it's just really bringing in alkaline foods and minimizing your acid foods. I don't know if I forgot anything. I think that we talked about just dairy, that IGF-1 and how dairy is such causes inflammation in the body. And your animal products, of course, they're loaded with saturated fat and with IGF-1 also, with steroids, with antibiotics. In fact, I saw a little cartoon while I was kind of doing researching, and it was funny. I didn't include it, but there's a guy at the pharmacy, and the pharmacist says, "I'm sorry, we're out of antibiotics. Go and eat 12 ounces of ground beef every 6 hours." You know what I mean? Because there's so much antibiotics in our food system. So basically, everything here is just very, very. It's just it's food. And that's how we want to prepare our dishes, is with using ingredients of real food, whole food. And so, and that's about it. I mean, I have one more. This bread here is another one that I use too. This is Ezekiel bread. It's kind of the same. This one is Food for Life, but this one is flourless and it's sprouted grain. So I keep this in the freezer, and whenever I want a piece of bread, like on the weekend or something, I'll take and when you put it in the toaster, it toasts up really, really nice, and it goes really good with this plant butter, a little plant butter. Not every day, but but for 5 straight days, you want to be eating at least these things here, and your vegetables. And what else? Oh, one last thing that I forgot is, sometimes if you don't have fruit, remember I said that fresh fruit is good too. I'm sorry, frozen fruit. So I buy like this organic. These ones are organic blueberries. I got these at Sprouts. They're like $3.49 or something, but it doesn't have to be every day. But sometimes, let me clean this real quick. Sometimes if you're in a real rush or you need a quick pick-me-up in between meals, you definitely want to, you can definitely have like a little high protein shake. Some people like them. I'll do one maybe twice a week if I don't have time for the fruit, or I don't have enough fruit on hand, which I try to anyway, but if you want to change it up just a little bit, you can always do a smoothie, okay? And the way that I do that is in my NutriBullet. I just put a little bit, for the most part, unless you really, really want to sustain yourself for a long time, you don't really need a lot of fruit. But I have this, this is a pea protein. We sell this at the shop that I work. It's called Love and Peas. So it's a pea protein, very high quality. And so I use a lot of this. And it's got 20 grams of protein in it for 2 scoops, but usually I just do 1. Unless I'm really, really hungry and I want to keep me full for long, then I'll do I'll add more fruit and more, and 2 scoops, okay? And then I just take a little bit of water. I don't know, this thing's not working. Sorry. Okay. And then I am going to, it was just dates anyway, so it's going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and mix it up. Sometimes it sticks to the side a little bit. Okay, and all that's in this protein is just whole food, just natural fruit sugars and pea protein, and it's so good, so refreshing. But basically, this is we have cups. Okay. Oh, the next one. Okay. Yeah. So basically,
Little cups.
oh, okay. So I can give little taste tests, but for the most part, there's your blueberry smoothie. So this could be, thank you. So this could be kind of like a little, you know, between if you feel like you need a pick-me-up or in the morning, do a double one. This will keep me full till 2 o'clock in the afternoon if I do a double one. And but then if I do the fruit, chances are I want something a little bit later, or I'll start my salad earlier because I get hungry, because it digests quickly, and before you know it, you're hungry again, but you've got your 3 fruits in for the day, okay? So
So they have blueberry water.
blueberry water and pea protein, a plant-based protein, yes.
Pea protein.
Uh-huh. And so that's kind of it for today. I'd like to have another one maybe in the future, and I can try different things, or have maybe some, you know, like a guest come in and show you different recipes or a testimonies. We've seen tons of people that have done so well eating right for their blood type, as well as alkalizing, which is basically just keeping that, learning how to put in 4 alkalines for every 1 acid food. And when you do that, like I said, disease cannot thrive in that body, and the weight loss just kind of happens automatically. You don't even have to try. When you start eating all these alkaline foods, the weight loss just happens. That's kind of like just something that occurs naturally. You know what I mean? Like you don't even have to try. Oh yes. So I can tell you one of the biggest testimonies in my life right now is my mom, who really is the reason that I really wanted to study plant-based nutrition, because over 2 years ago she landed up very sick in the hospital, and she started swelling with a lot of water retention, and she really didn't want to go to the hospital for a long time until it got really to a point where she was so sick. And so I took her to the doctor, and basically the doctor at St. Vincent Hospital took a look at her, and he said, "You need to go to the emergency room." So we wheeled her to the emergency room, and they admitted her. She was there for about 3 days. When she got out, my mom switched to a whole food plant-based lifestyle immediately. Like, she didn't even look back. Like, she didn't question it. She didn't fight it. She just said, I'm done with, I'm not going to eat animal products anymore. She started juicing and eating lots of green salads and fruits, and just, I mean, she's the one that has all the recipes, you know what I mean? And so she shares a lot with me. But I can tell you that a week and a half into switching her diet to a whole food plant-based lifestyle, she, Organic, all organic. Organic is so very important. Leave the junk and put your money toward organic food, because you're giving your body the best. But within a week and a half, she started getting low blood sugar. She was on 12 pharmaceutical meds for her heart. She had a CPAP machine. She had high blood pressure. Just a lot of different things. Diabetes. So within a week and a half, her numbers started dropping, and she started having low blood sugar. In fact, my niece, good thing, was there one day with her, because she kind of had to almost catch her because she was falling. So I took her back to the diabetic specialist, and immediately he said, just stop the medication. He saw her numbers. He said, stop. He didn't even wean her off. He just said, stop the medication. She said, I've just changed my life, my lifestyle. And he said, come back in a week, chart your numbers, and we'll take a look. And when she went back, he looked and he said, Mrs. Herrera, I don't know what to tell you. You're clear. You don't have diabetes. So it just goes to show the power of food has on the body to reverse chronic disease. Cancer, if it's not so far advanced, cancer cells can actually kill off and die with food, with the right food. I mean, mushrooms, so many different foods that have properties that fight cancer. And lo and behold, here's my mom today, 100 pounds lighter, or 80 pounds, something a lot lighter, No more CPAP machine, no more heart pill, no more Coumadin, no more high blood pressure, zero medications, zero medications. So food has the ability to heal the body. Another testimony, really great testimony I'm going to share with you before we close is the girl that I work with, Lori. She's my business partner. And when she was 35 years old, she developed a rare form of arthritis that was crippling her. Literally, her fingers started to twist. She got to a point where she couldn't button her clothes anymore. Her husband had to help her dress. She got to a point where she couldn't walk anymore. She was walking on her heels because she was so inflamed and in pain. And she worked for a law firm at the time, and she would eat nothing but donuts and coffee in the morning, Sonic for lunch, and fast after work, too tired to make dinner, so Dandy Burger or more Sonic or whatever it was. So she got to that point where the National Health Institute wanted to study her because she was twisting so fast and she was literally dying. She had 2 little kids at the time, and when a friend went to go see her, pretty much, she was in bed sick. And a friend went to see her and said, my cousin is an herbalist, maybe you should go see her. And she eventually went. Her husband took her, and he put her on a diet to her lifestyle changed. She ate according to her blood type. She's a type A. Type A's and type O's are different. Not so much, but type A's are usually more, they do better on a vegetarian diet, whereas O's are more of meat eaters. But nowadays, the way that our meat supply is, I really try to push people away from meat and dairy, especially dairy. But long story short, today Lori is a miracle. She's the most energetic. She has a running club. She teaches people how to exercise. She is just amazing. I mean, she got her life back with food, with the right food. So it's just living food. It's whole food. It's living food. Think of McDonald's and Taco Bell as just food that's dead. It has no nourishment for our bodies. So everything that we put into our bodies has to nourish us in some way. And I can't stress enough, alkaline, alkaline, alkaline. So if there's not any questions, those of you on Zoom won't be able to taste the cookies or the black bean patty, but if you have any questions, I can try to help or answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll definitely try to get the answer, to find the answer for you, okay? So thank you very much for coming. And if you have any questions, again, I really appreciate it. I hope to see you on the next one. Every time we'll do something different. We'll do another recipe maybe some testimonies, whatever it may be, but we'll try to make it interesting. For those on Zoom, I'm sorry that I was a little bit disorganized. I can only imagine what it would have been like if I hadn't had help. But I still ran into a few little things. But maybe next time I'll be a little bit more organized. Yes.
Maybe you can let them know where they can get recipes.
Yeah, I mean, Google has a ton of recipes. You just type in plant-based dinners, plant-based, plant-based, or vegan side dishes, whatever you're looking for. There are so many alternatives now on the market for meats and for dairies. You have your almond milks, you have your oat milks, you have your soy milk, you have your macadamia nut milk. You have so many different options. You've got cheeses, plant-based cheeses. You've got just so many alternatives. You've got tofu in place of chicken, which, like I said, is so much better for you. It's protecting you against cancer, whereas chicken or beef, the commercial especially is promoting cancer growth. So you really want to go online and look. There's so many different websites. I mean, I get a lot of websites, a lot of recipes from T. Colin Campbell. His name is T. Colin Campbell from the Center of Nutritional Studies, where I got my certificate. He has a lot of good recipes where you just type in whether you want breakfast or lunch or snack or whatever it may be. You just choose what kind of a meal you want, and it brings up a ton of lists. But if you want to do, vegan tacos one night, just type in plant-based or healthy vegan tacos and you'll come up with a bunch of recipes. Try new recipes, load up on all the different organic spices that you can use in your recipes to start, filling your pantry. When you go home, if you have Doritos in the pantry, toss them out. Coca-Cola, toss it out. They don't belong in our bodies. They don't. They're so acidic and they're just causing inflammation. And that's why we are living in a society where so many people are inflamed and sick. And so again, just your fruits and your vegetables, have them handy. Have them handy. Take them with you to work where they're there in front of you, where you're eating them, and think of just that ratio always is one acid to 4 times the amount of alkaline. So yeah, are there any other questions? Yes.
The water is filter water, like pure water filter, good for you? Or
yeah, I mean, it's stripped of a lot of minerals. Purified water, I mean, that's why so I have at the shop, I have minerals that I can add to my water, just because when it's the reverse osmosis, it does take away arsenic and other, fluoride and other things that you might find in regular tap water. But for the most part, I use a little bit of minerals in there. But if I don't, I'm getting plenty of minerals from other foods. So you know what I mean. So let the food be your minerals, your vitamins that the body needs, because basically the Bible says is that our life is in the blood. Life is in blood, is in the quality of our blood. So when we have good quality blood, that's where disease does not thrive in that alkaline body. When we have blood that's not high quality, that's sticky, maybe with diabetes or just not flowing correctly because of issues with circulation, that's where the heart has to pump faster to really get that thick blood flowing through into the body. So, but all of these foods here are going to nourish your blood. You want fluid blood. You want your blood to be moving through your body, circulating through your brain, all the way down to your feet. So all of these whole foods here are basically doing that. They're nourishing your blood. They're building your blood. They're cleaning your blood, and that clean blood is what's taking oxygen to your cells. And sometimes, let me just point this out, is when you start to eat a lot of alkaline foods and you're not used to it, the cells in your body start to open up and they release the toxins to be released through the kidney, the liver, whatever, however it may be, but the toxins are wanting to be released. So when you have those toxins floating around in your blood, sometimes people go through what's called a healing detox, and you feel like crap. You feel terrible. You have a headache. You feel nausea, whatever the case may be, kind of like a drug addict coming off of drugs. It's a detox. And so it's the same way with food. When we introduce a lot of alkaline foods into our body, we might go through a little hump of not feeling great. But once we get over that hump, that's when healing starts to occur in the body. So you can really control, lifestyle diseases with food just by turning to I really do, I'm not going to say push, but I really, really do recommend and suggest to people, try it. Go plant-based for 30 days. Go vegan, eliminate the animal products and the dairy, especially the dairy, for 30 days, and really alkalize your body. And again, I'm going to write this or go back to this slide, because this is the slide that's so important to get in every single day. And that is these foods right here. Your large salad, an ounce of raw seeds or nuts, which I use my seeds to put over my salad. I love pumpkin seeds. Very good for prostate health as well, pumpkin seeds, and for protective against breast cancer. Your beans every day, a large serving of your steamed vegetables every day, so that if you have your large salad for lunch, for dinner you're not going to want maybe another raw salad. So that's where you can cook. And cooking really does help because it pre-digests. The heat will help with digestion. Your mushrooms and your onions, which are high antioxidant, cancer-killing superfoods. So your mushrooms and your onions every day in your dishes, just throw them in there. Have onions on hand, and garlic. I mean, this is not just everything. This is just some of everything that we should put in our bodies every day, but at least these, and 3 fresh organic fruits a day. And if you can do this and alkalize your body in this way, you're going to see that weight comes off. disease starts to reverse, and it's just it's really just a miracle by God's grace. So, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, if you guys want to try any of this food, you're more than welcome. While we finish up, goodbye on Zoom World. Thank you for joining in. I don't know who's all there, but yeah, actually, I'm going to go ahead and say a little prayer to close, okay? So, let's pray together. Father God, I want to thank you so much, Lord, for this time that we were able to gather together, Lord, and just all this beautiful food before us, Father, the colorful fruits and vegetables that you created to nourish us, God, and just to keep us healthy. And we pray, Lord, that you would bless this time, God, that you would help us to take in what we've learned today, Lord, and just to make changes, maybe baby steps, maybe huge steps, whatever it is that you have for our life, God, that you would help us to make those changes necessary, Father, to reverse disease, because we know that it is killing so many people, Lord. Lifestyle is killing so many people, Lord. And so help us, show us the way, guide us into making the right choices, not only in our nutrition, Father, but in every aspect of our life, God. We need you, and we thank you again for this time together, and for all these people that are here today. Be with them and bless them in a mighty way, I pray. In the name of Jesus, amen. Amen.